Welcome back to the Huddle, the number one podcast in flooring. We are here every week to help you guys gain forward progress in your career. Simply put, we're here to help you win. For all the new viewers, welcome to the team. What's up,
Welcome,
fellas?
fans.
A year is done.
I know it's like we
This,
just started this year yesterday and now it's already done.
I feel like we did this not too many weeks ago, and it's been a year. So today we're just doing a year in review. Today's sponsors are Live Switch and a quick plug for Live Switch. We're starting to use their software and it's pretty freaking cool. You should check it out. Costs you nothing to go check it out. So go check it out and see if it can do some wonders for your quoting and for your business, particularly in the installation world. Tracking, it's got all kinds of cool stuff in there. And of course, the Trade Tap Verified Trade Index, the VTI, our other sponsor for the day. Just quick update on that. We're right on schedule to go live at the first of the year, so we'll be opening back up signups to the platform. It's not really closed, but because we're transitioning over to TradeTap and the hammer rating is gone, it's now the VTI. We've kind of slowed that down, so be ready. Right after the first year, we're going to get busy, folks. It's going to be awesome. And that is it for our sponsors today. And we are just doing some fun stuff today. We're going to look back on some of our favorite episodes, maybe not episodes, but I kind of kind of boiled it down to favorite conversations. Even some of that is a whole episode. I've got a lot of little conversations throughout the year that I've enjoyed. What about you there, Mr. Jose?
um, there's always a lot of conversations I enjoy, right? And I did go through yesterday and I started watching videos, and it's like there isn't one week that the word education, get educated, doesn't come out of our mouth. Dude, like
Education and
I was
training,
like,
baby.
yes, I was like, man, we probably should have just did that. Like, who said it more? You know what I mean? And just tallied that up. But
Yeah,
anytime you learn something is a highlight.
yeah, I gotta say, being part of the huddle is a real pleasure for me, and I took a lot of notes, and what I noticed in taking the notes is I kind of gravitated to where I was learning, which was kind of cool. I just watching episodes and I writing down notes and such, and kind of found myself like, oh, I like that. And it's typically when I was learning something. So yeah, we've been. I also noted that we talk like even in some of the episodes that are farthest away from training, which not many of them are, we still end up going there.
Nate says, is this a Kool-Aid and popcorn party episode? But I think it's a Hoser, there's a mute button right on your microphone kind of episode.
Mm, I don't know
For
what
every time you cough.
Oh,
are you still caught? Are you still sick?
oh yeah, dude, bro. I told you I died 3 times this week, probably four.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fever, I couldn't shake it, and I yesterday I thought I was good. I'm like, oh, I feel nauseous. Next thing you know, I'm like, let me take my temperature again. So broke out the rectum thermometer and took my temperature again, and I was almost 103 again, but I was at 104, almost 105 for 2 days solid, and then between 101 and 104 for 2 days. Yeah, so it's like 5 days of fevers,
'Tis the
and
season.
yeah, I
Yeah, that's everyone over here in Michigan
I
right now.
am all Robitussin, cough drop, and whatever else I could put in there right now. That's what I
You
got
got
on.
it all.
I feel like my voice is real extra raspy today, though, so I apologize.
It's good for radio.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. Well, I took some notes. I thought, one of the things that was kind of interesting was cadence across the episodes. Um, and I just kind of wrote what we believe based on what our episodes say. And it's installation. This is what I came up with. Installation professionals should act like professionals. This means seeking out training and certification in your trade, properly applying your skill and knowledge to the betterment of the project and your profession overall. That's my summary of all of our episodes.
And that's what we're gonna keep on talking about too.
Yep. Well, it's definitely the rally cry we got to have. So did you guys get through? Do you remember any of the episodes that particularly stood out to you?
Well, I told you I want, like, it was a lucky guess. One on there, and I was like, I'm just going to go back 32 episodes, and it was 2024 and reflecting, right? And it was like, and I think I texted you guys that yesterday, but um, I tried to skim through a lot of them and like, all right, maybe I'll remember what we talked about. And I just happened to stop on like education and training, and like every time I stopped, that's what we were talking about. So it's
Well, as
I'll
usual,
find that
these
new button.
these episodes also fall right before Tice, and I see Kevin's asking, is everyone planning on going to Tice? What are you looking forward to seeing or getting done there?
Well, I was actually waiting for like a Venmo payment from Kevin or something because he said he was sponsoring me to go to Ties this year, I think.
Kevin's sponsoring the Huddle, you said, to go to
Yeah,
Tice?
everyone.
Yeah, we'll be there, Kevin. Um, Anybody else jump in and do the comments? And just to honor the question, what are you looking forward to or looking to see and getting done there? We're launching um, the training hub portion of TradeTap, and we launch with CFI, and so we'll be there with the training hub on the computer, ready to sign up installers for trainings that are on there, and show how the platform works and how easy it is. So we're excited about that, and just getting around and getting. It's the one time a year you can kind of hit a lot of people that you don't get to see every all the time. You only see them once, maybe twice a year at trade shows. We talk a lot. We may get video time or different things like that. But uh, Mr. Jorge is joining the stream.
What's going on, everybody?
What's
What's going
up?
on, brother?
Are you driving to or
Happy
are you passenger,
holidays.
bro?
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yes, sir. Hope everybody had a
Hey,
good time during the holidays.
it was good.
I was sick, bro.
It was okay. I mean, it's no work, right? So it's okay.
Snow.
But yeah, we're going to be there also hosting the Wi-Fi live. So the Power Hour. So looking forward to that and that interaction. That should be really fun. What else? Obviously, the installation competition and then that whole thing. That ought to be a good time.
Yep. I got to get some information on that. I wonder. I got to get some details on that.
Yeah.
To go back to your question too that you had asked. I know I reverted back to the same answer, but dude, I really liked the live switch episode. Like that was, and maybe it's because it's more recent, right? But that was very exciting because that was all brand new, real life or real time reaction to a lot of it, and You can see that during that episode, I was up a lot because I was actually so intrigued by it that I was going through his website and doing all the things he was talking about and looking at all the options and that. It's like when, remember the first time you introduced Go Career to me? Like it actually,
Yeah.
like, instead of on stage trying to explain it, in person explaining it. And I was just like, dude, right? That's how
Yeah.
I felt. That's how I felt with Live Switch. And it was just like, tell me more. Like I didn't learn enough. I didn't hear enough. I
Yeah, and
wanted to learn
James
more.
is a good communicator too, and
Yes.
he understands our, the trades in general. He was a painter, so it's always good to get, another thing I wrote down that kind of plays right along with this is the all the times that I seen in episodes with guests where the guest was an installer and ended up, going into something still in flooring, just going into a different portion, I love installation, but I'm an old installer, so I love those stories where a guy was a painter or an old installer and he started doing, like what was that guy's name? I think I took a note of that actually. Oh yeah, Vince. It was episode 146, the market demand for expert witness. He used to be an installer. Now he owns Donato Pompo's ceramic tile. Uh, I forget the name of that. But they're a forensic tile service.
Yeah. I
And
remember.
he
I
was an
remember that now.
installer,
Yep.
and he owns Oceanside Glass. And then, we had episode 163, adapting to new technology or new installation techniques and technology with Robert Varden, which is always in depth about, installation. But and then even episode 124, global flooring trends, our insights across the pond. Remember our
Yeah.
buddies across the pond,
Gotta get that
floor fitting.
information.
They don't call it floor installing,
Yep.
they call it floor fitting.
They're a carpet fitter. Yep.
Yeah.
They
So
don't
all
call it
those
surging, they
were
call it
guys.
whipping.
They do?
Yeah, they're like, you whip that carpet? Oh, okay. I thought it was surging, so they can't call me Sergio like Daniel does.
What-
That's funny.
uh,
So
you guys
yeah, I
remember those
just
old
noticed that
commercials?
how many of those guys were old installers that got into something else, for our partners across the pond. They moved from installing mainly hardwood, but moved from that into flooring business consultants and mentoring other flooring, both installation companies as well as, seven-figure flooring contractors. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty
That's
cool to recognize that.
the progression with a purpose. That's what it is, right? Like you get those people who are passionate in what they do. There really is no boundary or guideline. You just kind of, what are the next steps? What's next? What's next?
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, speaking of what's next for 26 for you guys? I mean, how'd 25 go overall? Not just business, but you know, it was it's been a crazy year in my opinion. I think I probably say that every year, but the um the chaos in the world just seems out of control sometimes, and it's hard to stay focused on what you're doing professionally. You're like, you know, almost distractions everywhere. So I found it to be a distracting year, not from an aspect of like I couldn't get work done. I did, but it's just one of those years that seemed like there was so much going on in the public sphere that it 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 was the topic of many conversations.
I would say there was new successes this year, but also new lumps that had to be taken, right? And like if I talk about 32 episodes ago, when I said, hey, I want to try to dig deeper and get more automated and all that, that started happening, went away, started happening, went away, started happening, went away, but then came back the last month with a fury because I I didn't even remember that I said that in that episode, but figured a couple things out. Has it been a success yet? No, because we don't have it. I don't have any metrics to label it, but I do.
But you're working towards some cool
The
goals.
part that the part that I wanted to complete is complete. Right. It's just now I got to find a way to transfer it into a closed system instead of open system. So now that I know that it can work, now I can fine tune it into a closed system.
Yeah, what about you, Daniel?
I thought this year was gonna. I mean, at the start of the year, the way that things were looking, it was supposed to be like great, right? And then all these curveballs that we always talk about end up happening, and projects get pushed, and it's just it's a struggle because then like just our episode last week, right? It's that curveball, and then you go into kind of go into panic mode, like let me figure something out, and then it's hard to come out of that
Yeah. Disruptions.
disruptions. But I
We
mean, we're
go ahead.
still here.
Still plugging. Perseverance, I think, is the most underrated quality to any profession, but particularly entrepreneurship. If you're owning your own company, persevering through things and just dealing with stuff as it comes and looking for the best outcome you can get. Um, we had many really wild things happen at the flooring company this year, but we ended up turning in our best percentage profit year in our history. Uh,
Good for you, brother.
and thank you. And
Congrats.
speaking net profit, so we were able to control costs better versus our revenue, and that's always a good thing. We'll have get to share that with our employees after the year gets closed out here, and so we're really excited about that. But between a lot of things happening that were at the time, you're like, wow, this is really rough. Um, they, as they often do, turned out to be blessings in disguise. And about halfway through this year, I found myself getting to a place where I hope I stay forever, which is it's happening for a reason. Where's the positive, like path here, because there's something positive gonna come out of this, and it's just rang true. I mean, most times, even in difficult things, it's turned out to be the best. I mean, long term, the best thing happened, and yeah, we had some great struggles, but really good victories, and we turned the year in a position that we really wanted to. So a lot of goals were hit, and now next steps
Good.
are like you know preparing the company right now. We're kind of preparing the company for growth, revenue growth, but we want to maintain our profit that we figured out how to make. um, and so that's a new challenge. Can we grow and stay profitable? We proved that we could get profitable in a significant way. It's not. I mean, we've only had 2 years of not being profitable. Well, three in 25 years. So like we've got a good track record. But the 2 of those years are pretty close to now, and so they stick in your memory. Like I don't want to go back there, and instead of cutting and chopping off overhead spots and reducing spending and all that, and then running more profitable jobs, can we get can we increase our revenue in a significant manner and still maintain our profits? So that's our new challenge for this year.
Right
Yep.
people, right seats.
Right. Uh, Doyle asked if finding quality laborers is still an issue for everyone. And I think if you talk to anyone in any market right now, they will say yes. Because it's just like what we talk about here. It's not finding the laborers, that's the hard part. It's finding the qualified people.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Doyle's speaking specifically for helpers kind of position or apprentices or greenhorns, whatever you want to refer to, new blood in the industry, or you know that is what, if that's what he's referring to as laborers, or if he's just referring to like installers in general, quality installers. But you know, I think that is a problem that is a I think we've been screaming about it, and I don't say we as the huddle, I just mean the industry's been screaming about it for 10 years. And um, there's finally seems to be some good stuff going on over the last couple of years, but it takes time for a
Yes.
problem that big to get solved. But I think 26 could be a pretty standout year for he clarified laborers and new blood. I think it could be a pretty standout year because there is a lot of activity in that the college programs and the different programs that are being done through the FCEF. Um, Mark Farnsworth has some stuff moving with multiple different colleges. All the training entities are working on this as well. And then it's getting the access to the community that hires them. So Jumpstart is one of our features in Trade Tap that will give you direct access to the new blood, new laborers, and you'll be able to look up guys by geographic and geography and the discipline that they got trained in. Um, that is pretty live, but I mean, it's been live, but we are redesigning that as well, and it goes live soon after the first year. And that'll be hopefully a really good resource for people just to log on. It costs next to nothing, $99 for a year. And every installer could have access to new blood coming in as they finish these introductory courses. So anyway, kind of a plug there at the same time as stating that obviously we didn't price the thing to like be a profitable thing. What it is just trying to cover the technology costs for it, and that's it. We just want the guys to get hired. We feel like that is the key to making sure that the training entities and everybody really starts, that flywheel starts turning, is getting the new guys hired. Like, all these programs are great, but if we can't get you a job, then that's a
Then what's
problem.
the point, right?
Right. Well, and not only that, like, and also I'm gonna go build off of what he like young blood, newbies, greenhorns, whatever. What are we doing to attract the next generation too? Like when I came into the industry, there were so many hungry people trying to get out of a living situation, trying to break cycles, that it was like people were willing to try flooring. They were willing to try it for 2 years, 3 years. Now people are only willing to try if the bait is juicy enough. And not only that, is once they start, if they do get into it, now it's not the bait. Now the plates have to be overflowing with abundance of what they love to eat, right? So, got to try to make it abundant, try to make it sexy, got to make it nice, we got to figure out a way to package it to help our industry thrive in five.
Well,
And I wanna feed off of that real quick, and I mean go along with that with Jose's saying, and it's true. You gotta entice these guys to want to come and do this job because it's in some of the trades, like doing carpet, for example, it's super hard labor. It's heavy, and some people might be turned off doing carpet versus doing wood or ceramic or sticking to showers or something that pays a lot more. So then you're going to have these pockets of where you're not going to have installers in certain things because a lot of these young guys are going to say, hey, I need to get paid, right? Like, I want to get paid. I need to make money because life is so expensive right now. Mortgages, renting, whatever you, groceries, gas, everybody's throwing fireballs at you. And you kind of want to get on the trade that's going to pay a little bit more. So, what's going to pay more, right? Like, some guys are going to opt out of carpet because carpet, honestly, like when you get the lower end stuff, it doesn't pay the
It
best.
doesn't pay
So,
for
you're going to want,
crap. Let's just be honest. At the
yeah,
end of the
Eh,
day, just to build off that a little bit, Jorge, it's the
yeah,
if you run we've ran the price progression of installation payouts, and carpets by far now carpet tile in the commercial world really helped cause this because it turned, I would say, a skilled product into a skilled product that is more based on the adhesive, maybe. I mean, you don't need as many hand skills or installation knowledge to put down a decent carpet tile, but carpet is lagging behind all the others from a percentage of increase in pay. Now, you get into the technical products and it's keeping up. Your flat weaves and your wools, your woven
And it's
products.
easier for those, right? Because even the people that are buying the stuff online, the websites that they're buying from was like, if you're going to buy from us, we want to know who the installer is. And they'll send them to the NFIC website, to CFI website. So, I mean, it's progress, right? That's what we need. We need more people to be like that. If you want this product, let me know. You got to use someone
Mhm.
from this list that I'm giving you.
and you know,
yeah. When PJ was doing that, he really put us on a list. And out of the CFI website and out of the NFIC website, before they merged on together, I got more calls from NFIC and manufacturers from around the nation that were like, "Hey, we heard that you're on this list and you're the guy in your area that's doing this." From CFI, it was a little bit different. I'd get a call like once every 2, 3 years. But NFIC was the one that they had us on a list, and doing those types of materials, it's a little bit different. You gotta really put a lot of care into it.
Yeah. So
so
Doyle does. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
I'll say I have an idea, you guys. What if, to start attracting the next generation, we start offering Robux as a 90-day incentive?
Because our kids are all on Roblox right now. Doyle says, "How do we create feeder programs for the classes like the FCEF and all the stuff that's going on in the colleges?" And I don't know if it's necessarily a program. That's what those programs are there for. Is to those are feeders for us, right? But people need to know about them, and that's on people like us letting people know. I mean,
Yeah, and frankly, the whole system had to be kind of re-clarified and vamped. Um, there's a lot of work going on, and you guys know about it. But the bottom line is, you have to have a way for uh, uh, the not only the people to know about it, but to know why it's important to them, and that's that's a lot of work on the entities to do the work to get the word out there, but also, like you said, Daniel, us. It really, it's one of Trade Tap's core missions is to get people hired, get people. Well, if people start getting hired, that's the why. That's the, oh, I actually get a job when I go to this. If these programs are able to say, hey, we have an 85% placement rate or a 92% placement rate, and then they can the market against that, well, then that's telling people who are looking to get into the trades that if I go through this program, I'm going to get a job. Well, why are they going through the program? To get a doggone job. So we got to leverage proof, I think, is one of the big things. And then I think it goes right into this next comment by
yeah,
I was just
you know,
reading that one.
he says, just talked with a company last week about them not being able to attract good installers, but they want to pay them like it's 1995. Can't understand why these companies are not willing to pay realistic wages. How do we change that? everything keeps going up except the price of installation. My
So,
hypothesis around, oh, go ahead, Jose.
I want to add to an experience that Daniel and I had that could possibly tie into that a little bit. It's we invested a lot of hours that we were not compensated for. So we had to have a meeting with this company, and this is when we were obviously labor only. And the gentleman's project that we were doing literally begged and pleaded with the owners of the company in front of us. Why are we not paying them from our profit margins for the work that they are doing? Why are we not willing to lose on our part for the work we are asking them to do, and we're just deciding not to pay them, right? And that ties into that 1995 wage comment, along with a couple other examples, I'm sure. But
Well, another point to that is it's the why does it keep happening is because we untrained
oh,
guys are willing to do the goddamn work for cheaper than what the guys that are know what they're doing. That's the bottom line. That's what if the companies could not get the work done for any cheaper, they they would have to pay the higher wage. Um, the bottom line is that we and this is where the crux of everything I'm attempting to do and we're attempting to do is to separate very clearly a high quality installer, a qualified, a master, a high level, highly precise installer from chucking a truck. And if you make that separation clear and companies start working with, I mean, every company I talk to, they pay different guys better. I mean, if you're looking, when you're looking, you don't know what you're getting. And so you offer these lower amounts. I think that if you can clearly identify that, which is what Trade Tap and the VTI is all about, then you have a better chance of the high quality guys getting paid more, the lower quality guys not really getting work without being driven to more training or assessments, certifications, that kind of thing. And that way, now you have the whole industry being pulled up, and it's going to be pulled up by its bootstraps.
And
It's
that's
going to be pulled up by us.
where this comment from Rollin kind of flows into, right? Because not only he says that you have to make it sexy for them to join, right? Oh, he said put
Oh,
Jorge in a calendar, which yeah, we can
oh,
have a
you got
whole
to do a
calendar with
calendar
just
now,
Jorge
Jorge.
and his long hair though. But not only do you
the
have to make it sexy for the people that are coming in, is you have to make like the certification sexy for the people that are already in, because that ties into Al's comment where he said that Doyle's the highest paying retailer in his town and he wants certified installers. He's offered to pay for their certifications and they still say no. So what's going to make that the certification sexy? It's actually getting that VTI and being like, okay, now this is worth something.
hmm yeah, and at the like at the onset of it all, or the beginning of this process, what Doyle, I mean, he says next is they have to do it collectively together on raising prices. Well, that means you got to be part of something. You can't collectively do something without being a part of something. So being a part of the VTI, and eventually we'll have a forum on there where installers can talk to one another, and then you have no reason not to collectively raise your prices and
Right.
r- realize that as flooring contractors, now this is businessman flooring contractor Paul stating, we bid jobs at a certain rate, and so you can it's not going to happen overnight, but raise it a little bit, raise it a little bit, raise it a little bit. That's how the prices go up. We watched it happen here in our hometown because we used what is to be the VTI, but was Go Carrera. Installers started seeing what we were paying versus our competition, and even though our competition would, I won't let them on Go Carrera, frankly. It's the only company in the nation that I won't let on, but um, because of that, they had to start raising their prices because they were like, look, SNA is paying will pay me 20 cents more a square foot for this apartment complex, or 50 cents a square foot more. How am I going to, and so it's being part of that collective installer community that will help drive prices.
Yeah, he also says that you have to sell the professionalism of the service you offer. Um, that's all we have to do. I don't think that's all we have to do, but that's a huge part, and that's where I talk to contractors in our area all the time, and that's what I say. It's like they're like, you guys are just more expensive, and it's like, I mean, we're on a project right now helping one of the other flooring companies in the area because they turned down the more expensive numbers, and it's like, I mean, in the end of the day, are they going to be spending any less because of all the change orders? Probably not.
Yeah.
Well,
And
and it's the you said the more expensive thing too, and it's not. Here's the thing too, so everyone, like, we're in the same industry, right? It's pennies on the dollar add up, which creates the illusion of more expensive, right? But when there is more factored in and more included in one package versus the very vague other package that is substantially lower, at the end of the day, when they add in all of their things, like Daniel said, all the change orders were actually really not that far apart. It's just, I'd rather give you money back than ask you for money at the end.
Yeah, well, if you compare that to the installation side, like you're kind of talking about bidding work and putting packages together, really on the installation side, you live and die by your reputation and the ability to or your
Consistency.
reputation, yeah, but also the ability of the homeowner to kind of check that, right? So if you have a great reputation and you market yourself well, then 70%, the studies show 70% of the people will pay you more because they trust you, they know you, and they know your reputation. That's the crux of it all. The problem that I have had and that I have seen is that there's some installers who are grossly undereducated and grossly undertrained that talk really well, and they're able to make you believe that. And I'm ashamed to say, as an installer myself, I've been fooled many times on this over the past 25 years. And then we do the most insane thing in flooring, and we all do it, is we try somebody out, and so we're effectively putting our customer in this position to find out if this guy's any good. Well, if we know they're good because of the verified trade index, then we're more able to assess that installer and make sure that the right installer's on the right job. um, yeah, and that can only increase pay.
yeah,
Basic
that's
carpet should not be installed for less than $2 per foot.
uh,
I mean, that's a dream, right? To have it at $2 a foot, but
you're lucky if you get one for
realistically,
basic.
yeah, for basic, I mean, one for basic, 125 for basic's good. $2 is stretching it. I mean, it just depends. Are you adding tax strip? Once you start adding tax strip, tax replacement, transitions, all kinds of other stuff, it's gonna almost be $2 a foot with all that. Um, it just depends on
We're
everybody,
just talking.
and that's just on
We're
regular
just talking labor
base
though, and like not
carpet.
providing any
Yeah,
materials.
yeah.
Well, you do have those people who do the labor only, and they will bring their own tax strip, right? They want to use what they're comfortable with, and that's included in their labor price.
Right, and
So,
that's where it should jump up too, right? But everything we're like just labor only. It would be nice to see those amounts. When the crazy thing is that you don't see $2 a foot on sheet vinyl in most places.
right.
Yeah, and that is like that's closer. I mean, $2 a foot on sheet vinyl. I don't know how you get there on carpet. You know, not on not when you're talking about like standard, apartment grade kind of stuff or your standard, I'll say midline uh, replacement. I don't know how you get there. You know, like what does the uh, where's the bottom line where a guy can make a good living? And in that field, I mean, if you're at $1 or even 85 cents a foot, you're doing pretty well if you know how to install.
Well, it's easy to
If
get
you
there.
want to
You just
make
gotta.
more, you got to increase your
And
skill and ability, and you
and
got to
this is
go into
it,
some other products like Jorge was talking about earlier.
yeah, and Doyle says you got to consider one room or whole house, right? Because the less amount that you do, the more you got to bump it up, right? So it's easier to make more per foot because you got to start looking at projects, not just what you're doing. Because if you're looking at just what you're doing, then you're losing out. Every project that we put numbers to is project based. It's not just, oh, I charge X amount. So when people, back in the day, they were like, hey, can I get your price list? And we put one together. And then there was a time where we just talked to each other and we were like, dude, this price list is nothing. And then it was, I need information. What's the job look like? Give me a print. I need to know all this stuff before I even give you any numbers.
Right, because I use a corridor for an example. If we're doing a corridor at a retirement home of a VCT at night, and every 4 feet there's a doorway, an alcove and a doorway, and right, and all these returns, and now I'm doing that, and there's 500 square feet a night, no big deal as long as we make this much money a night. But now I have all that extra work that requires more hand skills, more time. It makes it more difficult to be profitable at a set number. Like now I got to figure out my hours divided into the time I'm going to spend because this is a little bit more than just your standard square 500 square foot room. That's a square a box with a door, right? Like,
Right.
so,
He says you got to have a
Well,
minimum and a footage price. All
yeah.
right,
So what's
here
Kevin
we go.
say?
Yeah, I can tell how I justify it. How our guys getting 250 a foot for LVP. Carpet takes far more tools and far more supplies, physical energy, and much more skill and experience. How do you get there with carpet? How can't you? And that's where I kind of want to fall back to salesman, right? Because I don't know, are we focused on just talking about residential or commercial? Because I guess it doesn't matter. The salesperson that's selling it in most cases doesn't know what goes into the installation. They think that I'm selling carpet, this is what it costs to install it. They don't look at the half-inch pattern that's on it. They don't look at the tack strip or the double stick in most cases. They're just like, it's carpet, just go throw it in. And
well, and the other variable of there's a lot more people in the I can install carpet bucket than there is in the I can install resilient bucket, right? If we're comparing it. So now I have 200 options to choose from versus 20 options, right? And out of that 200 and out of that 20, how many of them are consistent with workmanship, right? Now that you narrow it down, you still end up with way more options on the carpet side than you do the other bucket, and
Well,
that's where
some
the
some of
salesperson.
these. I mean, I get Kevin's point, and this is
Yes.
this points more towards the residential side because if you're getting 250 a foot on commercial LVP, it's going to be a kind of a special condition or a wet set or something of that nature in a smaller area, at least in our area. But point taken. I mean, $1.25, $1.50 even in commercial, and guys are, I know we've got crews that just a guy and a helper are doing 4 or 5 thousand foot in a day on the right jobs, and they're doing very well under those circumstances. to state to kind of address Kevin's thing. I get where you're coming from, but just because it's harder work doesn't make it more valuable. The I mean, you see this with many industries. It's harder work to work on a uh, say a boat, or I don't know if that's a good example, but like certain motors than other motors. But the people who are the most skilled and doing the higher end, if you're working on a Tesla, you're making more than you do working at a mechanic shop changing oil. Let me just say that the tools and what makes it hard because of the weight and all of this stuff and the skill set, it doesn't mean the market's going to respond. I think that a lot of people still value shop carpet, or I shouldn't say still, but they value shop carpet. And if carpet gets too high, they were like, well, I'd just prefer hardwood, or I really wanted, this other product, but I couldn't afford it. Is still in the value zone until you're getting into the the stuff that Jorge does, the runners
Right.
and the surging and the
Well,
wools and the stuff like that.
the carpet installer is such a broad term, right? Because when we look at carpet, we look at all the different types and variations of carpet. But when the public says carpet, they're including
It's just
all the
carpet.
different types and variations of the carpet. So maybe creating separation, public
Uneven.
separation.
Here's another thing. Well, here's another thing. Sorry to
No, you're fine, bro. That's what
cut you off
that's what
there.
it's about.
Uh,
Cutter offer.
People do LVP, LVT, hardwood, and tile, and they might think, well, I'm going to save some money because if carpet's going to cost this much to do, I'll do that other surface. But then what starts to happen is when you're on a second story or when the floor starts getting too cold on the first floor, guess what they do? They're going to buy rugs or they're going to buy something else to cover those areas. A lot of people do that all the time. It's like people do beautiful wood work on staircases, and then here comes Jorge covering it up with a staircase runner because now the kids are running down or the dog slips, and it's better to put a staircase runner on it than broken leg or a hurt dog, and now you got to go spend all this money at the hospital, which happens a lot.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying LVP is more valuable than carpet uh, at all. I'm not even saying that. I'm not even arguing with your point, Kevin, that it's more skilled by far. I believe that. Um, what I'm saying is that because people value shop carpet, I'm not saying the installer. I'm saying the people, if they have a budget for their house and carpet costs, you know, XYZ a foot, let's say 12 bucks, $10 a foot, right? That's going to be an expensive carpet. Well, for about the same price, you can get a hardwood or you can get something else. I'm saying that they value shop carpet. Carpet, most people, and not maybe that's a too overarching term, but a lot of people, they're buying carpet because they can't afford. They would love to have hardwood, or they'd love to have, a tile or a hard surface throughout their house. Most of them can't afford a $12 a square foot, $14 a square foot installed product. And so they go for the, you know, $5 a square foot product. You can get a decent carpet for $5 a square foot installed right down the street. I don't do residential, but I can tell you right down the street. You can go to my competition who does do residential and get $45 a yard installed nylon, textured cut pile, like pretty basic stuff, but still it's a heck of a lot cheaper than hardwood. And so that's all I was saying.
Right. And we all know that no flooring has any value until it's correctly installed anyway. So
Properly installed.
yeah. So there's that part, Kevin. But no, I see where Kevin's coming from on that too, right? The argument is for the carpet installer, but you're right. If someone wants hardwood, it's way too expensive. They go all the way down the bucket. At the very bottom for most cost efficient is going to be carpet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that's the most cost efficient to do. And to say the least, and I'm residential here. Residential carpet is also the most forgiving for people who are going to install it because they can. Dude, I've
From a
seen this stuff.
subfloor prep
Yes,
position, it for sure is.
yes, right. And that's where I was going with that. I've seen it installed over cardboard shims, steel shims, right? Like different levels in the same room, and it's performed okay. It's
You
performed,
didn't
but
really notice it until you tore it up.
right. So like it is, carpet is the flooring industry's band aid. Residential
Well, but
carpet.
and
Yeah,
and look when LVP started stealing market share from carpet. It happened when LVP got cheaper, not because people just automatically recognized it. When I first started laying LVP, it was pretty much Antico was the
yeah,
game, and it's always been a premium. They have Spacia now that they bought when they bought Mannington or when Mannington bought them, but Antico Signature Series is still an expensive LVP. That was all LVPs back then. It was like Centtiva, Antico, like that was
back
it.
when they
It was
were real luxury.
375 a foot or 350 a foot when it was actual luxury. Yeah. When LVP and LVT ended up coming down and
Reducing
you could buy the
decency.
crap for 20 cents a foot, 79 cents a foot or whatever, well, people start putting that crap in their houses because it was now in their affordable zone. If you own a mid-range home, you're just not typically putting in a high range product, and that the minute that carpet goes way too high on the cost scale, people are going to want a hard surface for the cleanability and all that. Now, what needs to happen, in my opinion, I don't think carpet should be replaced. I love carpet. Uh, the Just look under your bed if you have a hardwood floor. If you didn't notice, uh, it is gnarly under there after about 3 months because it's not allergenic like carpet. It doesn't hold the dust and the dirt and then let you vacuum it up with your nice Dyson HEPA. I mean, there is a lot of reasons to put in carpet. The education behind it is always driven by the manufacturers and what they want to move at that time, and then that's what homeowners buy. I know that at least in the residential world, um, I'm using some basic knowledge because I don't do enough residential to be an expert in that, but there's a reason why we still use a ton of carpet in the commercial world.
Right. And Al says if you're doing double sticker pattern or woven, he agrees at $2 a square foot. But if you're doing new construction or apartment 20-ounce builder grade carpet, no way it's worth $2 a square foot. And that's where you have the different tiers of installers too, right? Because these guys that are doing the multifamily are just going in and most of them probably have never even seen a stretcher.
yeah. And I
Yeah,
want to add to that real
we
quick
talked
about
to
the.
who
Oh,
was the
go,
guy we talked to? Jose, the what was his name? He was with Novalak. Was it Novalak?
Novalis,
Novalis,
Novalis. Yeah.
Andy
and
McWilliams.
yeah,
Yeah, Andy. Remember we was talking about all and Dwayne Pruitt chimed in about how much and he was like, there's no way these guys are using kickers and I know that's not the way to do it, but you're not, how are you going to stop it when they got to get 9 units a day done and 900 yards of residential carpet and it's a rag anyway, you know, that there is a reason for that's where the lower skilled labor should be. And then we focus on the higher skill stuff. I know that in commercial, we even talked about this a couple episodes ago about how a lot of the multifamily work is increasing their product selection because they're looking at life cycle
Have like
costs and how many tenants I can get through this
longevity.
thing. Yeah,
yep,
we done 2 or 3 this year, big projects. There was a 20 mil, 5 millimeter, like nice LVP. So
So Doyle says, and this kind of goes with what Kevin is saying, is not necessarily the labor aspect, but the numbers game, right? And why why the hard surfaces getting pushed more is because what they sell is driven by manufacturers advertising. So what are they marketing
Yep.
at that moment?
Yeah, that's what we talked about just a few seconds ago. I mean, we know that there's a need for carpet, and carpet can't should not be replaced. I mean, but the bottom line is what's being the pushed the most. What's really getting the push. So we all know that
And
flooring. Oh, we all know that the floors that Resilient's going over isn't properly prepared either most of the time. Guys are getting paid for pre.
prep on top of 250 a foot. Carpet trade gets hosed. This will continue until there are no carpet guys left. And the crazy
So
thing about that,
so
Kevin, is that there's so many guys out there that will only install carpet and not touch anything else.
yes, they say I'm a floor guy. I only install carpet. So let me add to what you just said, Kev. It's the flooring trade gets hosed at the end of the day, right? Like we are the most expendable trade on a project. When it comes to pinching pennies, they don't pinch pennies on the aesthetics of the paint, on the aesthetics of the fixtures, of the doors, or the furniture. It goes back into the floors. Where can I save on the floors? And
We're the
uh,
last ones in there.
we're value engineering a lot on the flooring industry.
Well,
Um,
and I don't want to. This is a good back and forth
oh, I love
opportunity.
it.
I would disagree with you. The problem with, say, for paint, for example, what's the difference between a really high grade paint and a builder grade paint? Not a
The
lot.
name,
I
the
mean,
name.
there. I use. I mean, I've painted my home, had my home painted, and I use top of the line Sherwin-Williams Emerald, and it is about 5 times the cost. But overall project, because you're talking the labor's the most cost in painting and all the prepping and all
And
of
the
that
prep.
stuff. Yeah, and all the extra materials they need, the plastic and the tape and all of that stuff. That's where the cost comes in. And so a lot of there, like, if you're only going to save 5 grand on an entire job because you go from Emerald to, you know, Pro 2000 or whatever, well, but you could save that at the click of a button by going from one product to another in flooring. We just have such
Yes,
range in our stuff that we
yes.
give them the opportunity to be able to value engineer it. Copper wiring in electrical is copper wiring, right? You can't use, like, there's not an electrician going, hey, we use higher grade copper wiring. No, you have to use what is specified for it for the voltage and the demand on that line.
We
You
only
see what I'm
use
saying? So
A1
there's just
copper.
less room in a lot of the other trades to be value engineered out. We have such room where, okay, take a nice LVT and switch it out for a good carpet tile, and you can save, a couple bucks a
And
foot.
not even that. If you go from a 5 millimeter LVT to a 2.5 millimeter LVT, right? It's just something like that. You could save $1 a square foot real easy.
Or go from a 30, 40 mil wear layer to a 20 mil, and you're going to save a couple dollars a foot and get the same visual, and they're both 2.5 mil. So it's the room that allows us to be the heavy value engineered because we have such price range in our product lines. At least
And
that's what I've
and
experienced over the last
to kind of
25
back
years.
up what Kevin is saying, Kevin, I have been on projects where they try to value engineer from like a carpet tile to a broadloom, and then they're like, I go back with the numbers and they're like, I thought this was supposed to be way cheaper. And I said, oh, the product is cheaper, but I have to charge more for the labor because you want me to carry up all these rows, up all these steps, unroll it in all these hallways, all these rooms. The labor is more expensive. So it's kind of a
Yeah,
wash. And they went with carpet tile. So
yep.
sometimes just because the product is cheaper doesn't mean that the labor is going to also be cheaper. And that's
You know,
where salesmen have to come into play and know exactly what's going on because that's just in people's heads, right? Like carpet is just cheaper, so I'm gonna go with that option.
And
Or
that
broadloom is
ties back
cheaper.
into what Al had said too about the woven carpet and pattern and double stick should be at the $2 a square foot, right? There when there's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of
you're doing
moving
double work.
parts, yeah, when there's a lot of moving parts, and the installer is it should be a requirement, but the installer must understand the science behind all those moving parts. Then yes, I believe that you should be compensated for the amount of years and time and effort and failures and successes you have experienced to get to that point.
And that's where hard tile is, right? Because you can have that's where it's weird because the material cost will be like this and the labor cost is like this. That's where you find that huge separation.
Well, that's because El Presidente helped write the damn book.
Oh, you talking?
the the the
Inside
the,
joke.
the whole tile world is a whole different beast
Oh
because
yeah.
you can get like
Much respect, by the way, for
large
creating
panel,
that separation, you guys.
large
Jeremy says
panel.
hard tile sucks.
uh,
Someone's gonna fight you now.
you get the bigger and bigger tile and larger tile. I don't know. The tile world and the price resilience for it is pretty, should be studied. Like, did carpet follow the same path as they started coming out with more and more difficult, um, patterns and looks? It'd be interesting to know if the manufacturers themselves kind of backed up that higher labor cost. I mean, I know like when our reps sell something that's, 24 by 48 and bigger, anytime they're selling that to a architect, they tell the architect straight up, like they're always telling them this is going to increase your labor cost. Like, so just so you know, and the big slab, gauge porcelain panels. I mean, that stuff's 15, $18 a square foot as it is.
Well,
And
it's like a sheet vinyl, right? You get one cut, man, and then that
you
whole
break
panel's
one,
done.
baby. You
One
break one.
time, first try.
And
Yeah,
so the
they're like,
installation, because of the
why do you gotta?
risk,
Why do you have to
should be
have
up
so
there.
much extra square footage? Why does it cost so much? It's like because this panel is like 40 square feet.
Yeah, you
Well, you
can't
got to
cut
look at it
off
like this.
you can't use the 3 foot that's left off of that thing. I mean, we've done massive panels. Well, I think the biggest one was 5 foot by 10 foot panels,
Ooh,
you know, and you got to pay well. It's usually very, very labor intensive, and you got to have all the extra tools. Harkening back to what Kevin said, but I would tell installers, like, if you're having a problem, if a certain discipline is not paying you well and you're highly trained and you can command a higher price, but you're still not, it's still it's a product problem. Specialize, do something like what Jorge's doing, or get into one of the other products, diversify a little bit. We've talked about that on this podcast before.
So Doyle says he wonders if manufacturers would offer rebate programs for installation for installers. And not necessarily like a rebate program, but I know Kevin over with Roberts, they were working on, you get an additional warranty if you use their products and you're certified. So there's avenues out there to where they are trying. Jeremy says he wishes employees would get a little extra for having to deal with all the extra steps or longer process. And that's where we're kind of at with the hard tile installers is they do command that extra money for all those extra steps, and that's why your material cost is this big, but your labor cost is this big, right? Because it's just not the same as the other parts of the industry. And wood's almost the same way, right? Where you're doing sand and refinish, and the product is relatively low cost, and then the labor is 2 or 3 times the amount.
Yeah, same thing with epoxy floors
yeah.
and like polished concrete. I mean, you don't have that much product. You got equipment and your tooling and your
The prep
your
work.
labor. The
And the
epoxy
knowledge.
itself and the chips, not that expensive if you're doing a decorative epoxy, for example. But your grinder costed $35,000. Your
The
the
vacuum.
heads on the grinder, just your diamond and your discs. You got to have
10 grand.
three sets for different things. Are $600 a pop, and so it's those things that cost. But then you cross that, or you amortize that across the entire square footage of the job. It's pennies. It's 30 cents a square foot or something like that. And then your densifier, if you're polishing concrete, for example, is like a quarter or less. It's all your time and effort put into running the machines back and forth, you know? So that's where there are some disparities. Carpet is typically cost obviously more than the labor. And it's it's that way in carpet. It's still that way in sheet vinyl. Um, you know, Sheet vinyl in the commercial world, you're going to pay anywhere from $28 to $48, maybe sometimes more, but let's just say $28 to $48 is the range for a decent commercial sheet vinyl. And
You're
a
looking at
good
half of
payout
that.
is at $2 a square foot. And that's a pretty standard, I would say on the high side. I have the luxury of seeing work orders across the nation through Go Carreras, so I know that's a good wage in general. That's about what we pay. It just depends on the project, but and then plus weld and plus your flash coving per
Yeah.
lineal
Plus
foot. We break it
compression.
out that way when we pay. We don't pay like I don't know some exorbitant amount per yard, and it
$32 a
includes
yard
everything.
includes everything.
I hate
Now
that.
we pay by the yard for the flat for the sheet vinyl, and then by the lineal foot for the cove cap and
Flash
metal
coving.
and
Yep.
flash coving,
Yeah.
and then by the lineal foot on weld rod. I look at it as separate steps, but that's my world. That's what I love to work on. That's what I love to install. Um, and they. I said this when we started this podcast that when I first started, we were being paid $7 and $8 a yard to install, and 99. It's almost triple.
I think 2 years ago, someone approached us and said, "Hey, they said that you guys were the best guys in town to do sheet vinyl. We have this job." They sent us a work order, and it was $6 a yard for sheet vinyl.
I wouldn't do. I mean, that is
I wouldn't do the estimate for $6
Hold
a
on.
yard.
that's about what is paid for like loose lay sheet vinyl in an apartment, $6 or $8 a yard. And that's because you just go cut it in really fast, just toss in your cord around, and like there's nothing, no prep. That's how those
And
apartments are
that's
treated.
right. And it's just the
Like the
turnover,
Empire
right?
guy.
Because the very next tenant that comes in, turn it over, do it all over again.
Look, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you guys realize what time it is.
Yeah.
How about that?
And we went off on a
It's
tangent.
5 o'clock
We
somewhere.
didn't go off topic. We did exactly what we did in all the other
No.
episodes.
It was a tangent, but it was a good tangent, right? It's a
Yeah.
good one to end the year on, I think.
Well, I
Well, the
want to end
bottom
the
line
year.
is the higher quality you can prove yourself to be, and present yourself, and the more education and training you've absorbed and became better in any of these fields, you're going to get better. You're going to get better pricing. You're going to get better projects. The whole thing just works better if you are a professional. Um, I had some other episodes I was going to bring up, but we're out of time.
We are out of time. So Spotify does a nice thing and gives us the wrap for the year, right? So when Spotify did this was the top episode, but now the top episode, let me see if I can get back to it real quick. It's not that anymore, but they didn't change it. Anyways, I'll see if I can find it, but this live from Synergy was that top episode.
Yeah.
and that was a good one. I wasn't
That
there. Y'all were there.
that you were there, just not all the
I
way
wasn't
there.
there, but I was there, but I wasn't there.
That was I think if we have no technology problems, then our Wi-Fi episode should be the best episode for viewership. It's bringing in a new audience. So I want to thank Wi-Fi for partnering with the Huddle to do Wi-Fi Power Hour Live at Tice. It's going to be a great show. We're stoked about it, and we are really looking forward to working with them people.
Yeah,
Top countries.
top
All
countries.
right.
We're worldwide, guys. So we definitely appreciate everyone that listens to us. Are top we are top podcast for 17 people on Spotify.
Nice. Well, as we end the year, guys, I just want to say thank you to everybody who comes on every week, uh, gets on YouTube, watches our channels, followed us on social. We're going to continue to do some more planning. We are still planning on coming out with our business stuff this next year. It's a grind for us to get the time to work on that. Honestly, we all own other companies as well. But yeah, after the first year, and I personally get Trade Tap launched and the VTI launch, so that we can get that all rolling. I'll have some more extra time to work on that with Daniel and Jose, and we do plan on still bringing that out next year and having one heck of a program for you. I can't thank you enough. It's been an honor to, work with you guys. And carpet guys are installing for, what do you say?
Three
Three to
that's
three
three
fifty a
fifty
yard.
$3.
Well, that's a travesty. Unless you're doing a freaking school size project with carpet tile, that's a travesty.
So yeah,
They,
we got some things planned for the year, and we're definitely um ready to bring you guys along for the ride. Our says that people listen to us for 80%, 86% longer than other shows. We receive more comments than 78% of other shows and more shares than 80% of other shows. So thank you guys
Thank
for
you,
spreading the
everyone.
yeah,
word,
Appreciate
and
that.
please keep on doing that. I mean, without you guys, we'd be nothing. Like, seriously, thank you.
yeah, that's humbling. That's awesome, guys. Thank you so much
Yes.
for being here with us. We love you guys when you're on live, but we appreciate you going to the different podcasting sites and watching our content there. Uh, let's keep it up. Let's collaborate, as this conversation had alluded to. Collaborate as a group of installers, and we can make some positive change. Let's get together,
Yes, sir.
be a collective, and make positive change in our industry. It's been clear we have to take the reins. You can't just say what needs done. We got to act. And, not to toot our horns, but that's what we're doing. We are acting and making positive steps as best as we see. And you guys give us great advice on this channel as well. But we're making positive steps that we feel are best for the industry, and let you guys decide at the end of the day. So thanks again. That's awesome stats. That means we're, top 20% of the nation in some of this stuff,
Yeah,
which is
and
pretty encouraging.
I did find the most listened to episode was ended up being implementing effective quality control measures.
Love it.
That's actually a
Don't
good
talk about
episode.
it, be about it. I love it, Kevin. All right, guys. Well, Jorge, thanks for jumping on and chatting
Yeah,
with us
we're
a
it.
little bit here when you could.
Hey,
Want to close it?
thanks for
Got a
having me.
closing statement
Appreciate
there,
it.
bro? Got a closing
Yeah,
statement before we
what's
hang
your
it
end
up?
of the year?
Uh, my end of the year is I could stretch it with my knee kicker for $1, but if you want me to use a power
Two
stretcher, I'll
dollars.
charge you $2. No, I just hope everybody has a great 2026 going to be a great year. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for it to get here already. So I hope everybody has a blessed new year, and I hope to see most of you and everybody. Really, I really want to see everybody at Tice,
3 weeks.
because that's the only time we get to hang out, and convention and maybe a couple of other things. But I hope to see everybody there.
Yeah, amen. Looking forward to it, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kevin. See you
If
at
you're not
Tice,
going to
bro.
Ties, you are now. Book your tickets today.
Book them.
Yes, sir.
Closing 2025, Mr. Daniel. What's your words of wisdom?
Start charging $2 a square foot for everything.
How about you, Jose?
Uh, I'm going to close it out in responding to this right here. Jeremy's comment, I wish the employees would get a little extra for having to deal with the extra steps or longer process. Does that mean that as the employer, I can put deducts in for you causing me extra steps and a longer process?
This sounds personal.
It's the same thing. I seen it. Someone shared a video, and he just shares like little clips of like the views from a business owner. He's like, you never get a call or a text when you give them a little bit extra in their check. It's like, oh, we'll give them 4 more hours, but then if there's 10 minutes missing from their check, there's like, what is going on?
Isn't that
Like,
Yes.
they
funny?
never say anything about that.
That's
But
how it works.
Yeah,
I
so,
think that Adam Sandler and Mr. Deed said it best. You remember that scene where he's
oh,
talking
love
to that
Blackfoot.
football player and
Oh, yes.
the from the Jets, and he's like, "I ain't throwing another damn pass till you get off your rich asses and
Yeah.
renegotiate my
Write
contract."
me a check.
And then he punches him, and he's like, "Okay, what's the problem?" And he's like, "Well, I just figured that since if I did good, you guys pay me more money." He goes, "Well, if you don't do good, can we pay you less money?" He goes, "Hell no." And that sums it all up. So
Yeah,
I think you get paid directly to the value you bring. That is the bottom line, guys. Whether you're entrepreneur and you're working in the marketplace, it's in direct contact with the value you bring to the marketplace. Same thing to your employer. Bring a lot of value to your employer. Make them not be able
right.
to ignore you, and you will do just fine.
And that's what they said in
Or
the
go
book
to
I'm
another
listening.
employer that'll treat you just fine. I mean,
The book
that's
I'm
just
I'm listening to is about leadership, right? And that's what they said. And I've watched videos on it too, and it's like people think that the title, you're working towards the title, but the people that end up getting the titles just were working. They weren't necessarily looking for it. It's like you just have to do the work, and then things will come to you, man.
yeah,
You
adding
can't
the
you can't
value.
just be looking like, I want this title, and why don't I have it yet? It's a leader is going to work towards that.
Oh, like you said, a lot of people that end up getting that title, that is not what their goal was. Their goal was to bring a best experience they can to their customers, or be the best employee in a certain position, whatever. Make yourself invaluable. There's no industry, no job, nothing that doesn't help. You do not hurt yourself by being on time, being punctual, being dependable, doing high quality work, being professional, having a good attitude. These things are across every business. And if you are those things, you'll get you'll get paid better than most.
so,
And that's where I see, like, we always relate it to sports. And in baseball, the Ripken experience, they sell shirts they're plastered. It says hustle takes no skill.
Hmm.
so you guys just made me think of something and this will be my closing thing for 2025. And I'll let everybody kind of let this turn into their own interpretation. I told my son years ago, I said, I'll get you the things that you need, but I don't ever want you to come up and ask me for the things that you want and be afraid to ask. What I would like is I want you to do things without me having to ask you all the time. So that way, when you do approach me with something you want, you make it hard for me to say no. Make it hard for me to say no.
Did you ever find do you ever find that it's just one of those deals that you naturally want to do without them even asking sometimes when they're
It's
taking all the initiative in the world?
yeah. Well, you naturally want to do it because it's a reaction to effort, right? Like
Hmm.
you can't help anyone who doesn't want to help themselves. That old saying. And that's where that teaching came from with my son. And I'll be honest, my son is a little weird with his work ethic and what he is comfortable doing and what he knows how to do. I'll be honest, he's a little out there, right? But it all started with that little thing, and I'm not lying. I started telling him that when he was like 4 years old.
Well,
Dad, can you go buy me this? Well, what have you done for me lately?
yeah, that's the thing. People, you got to show up every day, do the job, like Daniel said, like Jorge and Jose implied earlier as well. Do the work. What you're talking about is, perform. Get out there, perform, and like we're professionals, so let's act like it. Jorge, thank you so much for joining us, dude. I'm a little jealous of what you're doing right now. Very proud,
Prost.
very proud of you, brother.
He's drinking au jus.
Work hard, drink hard.
Amen. All right, guys. Well, we're closing out the year at the Huddle. Want to thank again everybody for being along with us on this ride. We are the number one podcast in flooring, no doubt about that. Don't forget to check out Live Switch and be ready after the first year. We're going to be promoting the VTI Heavy Duty. Everybody should get on that. Absolutely free for life, and there's a lot of perks. And we look forward to bringing that to the market. My 2025 is I'm looking forward to 2026 and building on 2025 momentum, taking some lessons and lumps that I learned and applying them in a positive manner and trying to bring positivity, not in the kumbaya kind of way, but like looking at positive through my leadership and through my actions, bringing positivity, not just my words.
There you go.
All right, guys.
Man of action.
See you guys
Thank you,
next year.
everyone.
See you next year.